Hey folks, Sean here, and today what I want to talk to you about is this new topic or strategy that I'm borderline obsessed with that I've been referring to as Micro-SaaS. Now, if you haven't heard this terminology before, how I describe it is not thinking of your B2B SaaS product as a fully featured application that can get complicated or heavy at times. It's thinking of the most important feature in your B2B SaaS application and then turning that into the application itself. Let me explain a little bit more. So, in my opinion, and what I've observed out in the wild, software just gets way too complicated, usually way too fast. Before you know it, I see a lot of software out there turn into basically Salesforce. If you've ever used Salesforce before or experienced it, you know what I mean. They have so much going on, it's hard to tell anymore what Salesforce does or doesn't do because it seems to me that they have something for everything. And in my opinion, if you're trying to be all things to all people, you're nothing to anyone. And what I mean by that is it becomes so overwhelming for people to figure out what it is your software does that they get frustrated or quit, they become overwhelmed, and they really just don't have they don't have the ability to kind of continually figure that out, so they give up. So that's why it ends up becoming nothing for anyone because a lot of people quit. So that problem has become ever more present in the B2B SaaS world as well too. As products evolve, software becomes more mature, features become more intense and overwhelming, and I think that is a risk to the success of B2B SaaS companies at scale. So what I've dove deep into in recent weeks and months, and in fact, at the moment, I'm actually building multiple Micro-SaaS products, which has been really exciting, and I want to share those details with you moving forward as I continue to record these episodes so that you can learn from what it is I've been doing, what is working, what isn't working. I can share those strategies with you, and you can incorporate them into whatever process you may be investing in at the moment. Perhaps it's a product of your own that you'd like to build or are currently building, or maybe you're even working at a company with a more complicated piece of software. Regardless of which of those buckets you may fall into, this is a strategy I feel like has benefit for everyone because I've been in all those positions myself. Right now, I'm building Micro-SaaS applications, but I've worked on heavy, complicated, big software product teams. In fact, I consult to them still now. And the strategies that I'm learning and deploying using this concept of Micro-SaaS would help even the most complicated software products. Because the universal philosophy that I've adopted and I continue to pursue and push the boundaries of is software can never be too simple. You can't make software too simple. If you continuously work to make your software simpler but effective, I often experience some of the best experiences that I have with software are the simplest but most effective pieces. Because again, I feel like too many people are trying to do too many things with their software, and before you know it, you lose people. There's an interesting story I'll share with you. So my wife and I just moved into a new apartment, essentially in Philly, and in it, a new refrigerator came with the unit. Great, right? So simultaneously, we're both trying to figure out how the water dispenser on the refrigerator works. And you'd think because of how many years I've spent in usability that things like this would just be intuitive for me at this point, but you'd be wrong. Trying to use this thing, we both got it wrong, and she's much brighter than I am. She is a PhD. So it's the obvious when you approach the fridge, what's obvious is that there's one lever, and if you put a glass against that lever, it dispenses ice. So if you're not expecting ice and you're expecting water, it sprays ice everywhere. So I think we've all had kind of that experience, but the trick that came into play was like there's a touch screen on the fridge, for example, and I'm on there and I'm looking for like, how do I switch this to water? Because that's the ingrained experience. That's what I'm used to with these products. But there isn't an option for that. Why? Because there's a second dispenser or second lever that dispenses water. They've separated the water dispenser and the ice dispenser levers in terms of where you press the glass against. And the water one is like almost camouflaged. Like it's like built in to the extent where you almost don't notice it. But what you can notice is the ice dispenser lever. So I simultaneously made the mistake myself and then witnessed her do the same and then had to explain it for her. So anyway, my point is like something simple like that causes tons of usability issues if it's not intuitive or you've made it overly complicated. And I see this with software all the time. So anyway, I encourage you to do a little bit of digging on Micro-SaaS. I'm going to be creating a lot more content around it, and I'm hoping it's going to help you be more successful in B2B SaaS.